And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Renegade Games is one of those publishers who I'm constantly on the lookout for their new stuff. What do they have? Because their new games fit that category of being light and entertaining and interesting, and there's not a lot of good light games out there. So I was kind of interested in this Apotheca, even if the alchemy theme is being done to death. The Secret Potion Society. Yeah. Whatever. Well, in this game, Apotheca, you are trying to satisfy your apothecaries that are working for you, but none of that really matters. It's like an abstract game where you're trying to get 3 potions in a row. Here's one. The board is a 4x4 grid. At the beginning of the game, you're going to put some potions in each of the corners, and then 2 potions randomly in a diagonal, doesn't matter which ones that you put them in. These potions are going to be one of 3 types of potions: red, yellow, and blue. That's it. You have a huge stack, and they're all the same thing. They're all red, yellow, and blue. One player is chosen to go first, and if you're playing with 4 players, you're on teams of 2, and on your turn, you are going to take 2 actions. You have 2 different actions that you can take. There's 4 that you can take total. You have to take 2 different actions. One of those actions can be taking one of these face down ones and revealing it. When that happens, you get a gem of the color that you revealed. You can also add more face down potions. You can only do this if there are less than 3 out there, and if that's the case, you draw these, you look at them, and then you place them face down with the arrow pointing you. The reason you would do that, until there's 3 of them, the reason you have the arrow pointing you is because you can look at those anytime you want to remember what those are. The third thing that you can do on your turn is you can use an apothecary. Each person is going to start the game with one of these, and you'll get more as time goes by. And so, for example, it says swap a face down potion with a face up potion. So I use my apothecary, and I might say I'm swapping this one with this one. Or maybe I'm going to swap this one with this one. It's up to you how you use your apothecaries. And then the 4th action you can do is you can buy a new apothecary. Each apothecary has a cost. You can see there's 3 face-up ones. This costs 2 blue, 2 red, 2 yellow. Or you can buy any of them for 1 of each. And you can even buy the face-down one on the top of the deck here. And the more apothecaries you have, the more abilities that you have. So what are you trying to do? You are trying to get 3 in a row. When it happens, boom, 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 these come off. You'll take one of the apothecaries in front of you, and you will place them on it. That shows that apothecary has been satisfied. Doesn't matter what color. Every apothecary wants every color. However, you can no longer use the special ability of that apothecary. So, and that also removes these from the board. If you manage to get a super duper thing like 4 here in a row, or maybe you manage to get a, you put this down and it makes 2 3s at the same time, or you put this one down and it crosses 3, or you have, you put down this one and it makes the corner. You're still going to remove them and put them on top of one of your apothecaries, but you'll also get a color token, a color gem of that one. Now, when you pull these off the board, you keep going. However, it is possible, I have not yet seen this in the game, but it's possible that the whole board will be filled up and no matches are to be seen. By the way, diagonal doesn't count, so I don't see any matches here. When it happens, you pull the top one from here, and boom, destroys all that color. Now, when you take 3 in a row, that is not one of your 2 actions. That just happens automatically. You can do it if you don't have an apothecary to put them on, but you won't get any points for it. The first person to get 3 apothecaries satisfied wins the game. There's also a variant called Master of the Market. This is where one player is playing against everybody else. That player is going to take this apothecary area and put that in front of them. They don't get an apothecary like everybody else does, but they can use any one of these. They just have to pay to use them. When players buy new apothecaries, they will pay the master with gems. So the master has that, but the master has something else. They have these 3 here, red, yellow, and blue. So they pick one of the colors and put it in front of them. And only they can score for matches of that color. The other players cannot. They can pay 1 gem to switch to a new color on their turn. And so players basically play the same way, except for the master takes a turn in between every player's turn. So one player, then the master, then another player, then the master, then another player, then the master, back to the first player, then the master. And you keep doing that. And you're pretty much all the rules are the same. The master doesn't get bonus for making 4 in a row or anything. And the master might score a color that they can't score for, or the players might, for example, if blue's out, they might score a row of blue, but that doesn't actually score for them. It just goes away. The master has to get 1 match of each color. The rest of the group just has to get 3, period. First, either the master's going to win or everybody else wins. That's how you play that. There's also a solo variant, which I haven't tried. Apotheca's components are nice. They're thick tiles. It's easy to tell. I mean, you got yellow, blue, red, but they're really easy to see what they are. They're different shapes, so if you're colorblind, you can easily still match them up. Apotheca and the artwork for the apothecaries is nice and neat. The jewels are good. Some of the jewels have that, it looks like they were twisted off the end. The blue ones in particular, I wouldn't give them 100 on quality. I'd give them like an 80 maybe instead. But for the most part, I like what's in this box. It's a pretty big box for a game that doesn't seem as big as what's in the box. And I tell you, when I played the game through, I was like, it's okay. That was really my response. It's okay. It felt a little bit like Tash Kalar from CG Games, where you're trying to put things in the right order, but it wasn't that hard. It was like, okay, I'll flip this one here, I'll use my ability to move this one here, and that makes 3 in a row. And on your turn, you're like, okay, I can't make 3 in a row on my turn, so I'm going to make it so that the next person can't get 3 in a row, and you just keep going until it happens. And using the powers is fun and all, but it just felt like it was lacking something. Then I played that 1 versus all with the Master Apprentice, and that really changed up the game. It's still a fairly light game, but there's not many 1 versus everyone abstract games. Yes, I know it's Apothecary, it's abstract. And that was pretty cool. The one person is switching the color when they need to. When you buy an apothecary, you're like, okay, I'm giving these jewels to him, but now he's going to be able to use his powers. He can't use as many powers as we can, but at the same time, he can switch colors at any point. We're about to score 3 in a row for blue, and he'll switch to blue and score it himself. And I feel like it's really an evenly balanced game. The people who are against the Master Apothecary are like, well, that's not fair. He has all those powers. He gets our gems. He can do what colors. Oh, he's so powerful. Why the Apothecary is like, oh, I'm always in a straitjacket. I want to do this color, but I got to pay to do everything. I like it. That, for me, is where the real game in here lies. Although you do have the lighter game to introduce people to. So this is a fun, light game. I think the initial game's a little light for me, but with the 1 versus many, solid, really good. And there's also that solo variant. I haven't played that. I'm not a big fan of solo games, but that's all included in the box. All this in 30 minutes. Yeah, the Apothecary theme is being overused, but this one does it in a slightly new way and added something I haven't seen before, and I'm always happy to see that. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.